Get a job in tech. Thanks everybody for listening to this podcast. Really appreciate it. All right. So right now you're probably thinking you're probably on unemployment. You're probably at a job. Maybe you're at home and you want to learn how you can get a better job right now. You're really not sure. And the companies that I mentioned, maybe Sitel, maybe Transcom, they're not hiring. So how do you make some side hustle income, right? If you have a skill set, if you have a talent, if you have something you know about, you like doing, you know, and that is your bread and butter. That's what you love to do. Here's a couple ideas. Now, obviously, this isn't going to make you money immediately. Now, day one, right? And no guarantee. Obviously, there's no guarantees for making money anywhere doing anything. So obviously, if you've listened to any of the other podcasts, they tell you like, oh yeah, start a business, online business, and then leave it at that. And like, okay, what does that entail? What does that mean? You know, how do I do that, right? Okay, so the first thing, right, is to have an idea. Doesn't really have to make money. You just have to have an idea of doing something. You'll make money later on when it becomes popular or when you have more credibility in the field. Something obviously that you do already, that you're kind of an expert in, or you're kind of good at, or you kind of know how to do it. It could be like perhaps making food. Maybe you're at-home cook, at-home chef, and you want to just hone your skill a little bit. And you're like, well, you watch TV, you probably watch Chopped, you probably watch uh, guys' grocery games, diners, drive-ins, and dives, and think like, oh, I'd love to do that. And maybe somebody has told you, hey, you're really good at that. Why don't you try doing that? And then maybe the self-doubt kicks in, and you think, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough, right? I don't know if I'm good. They're on TV. They have, all these other accolades. They went to school for culinary or whatever. And I'm here to tell you, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. You probably have figured this out already if they're watching some of the judges on Food Network or Food TV. Some of them were guests. Some of them haven't had as many years experience as some of the people that they're judging. So try not to make that a barrier to entry into whatever it is that you want to do in your hobby job, hobby income, hobby side hustle, whatnot. So I would say the next thing to do after you have your idea and you have your idea, okay, I have my idea, good. The next thing to do is to download a program called Open Broadcast, OBS Studio. It's free to download. And you can use that program to record your computer, record a output on your computer, maybe make a drawing on your computer and record that. You can also use it to stream. So you plug up your camera to it and you can record that feed into OBS and then take that and put it on the internet. You can also record audio. So you can record yourself doing your own podcast. I really don't have all the answers really for getting a job, right? I know this much though. Consistency is really the key on everything in getting a job in IT. Getting a job and working from home really is consistently doing one thing. Everybody else looks for the get rich quick thing, whatever that thing is. And like, okay, yeah. And most folks you talk to, their the default mode is no. Like, oh, maybe they work at McDonald's and they're your relative, your friend, whatever, and you happen to work in IT. And you say, hey, you ever thought about getting IT? And they say, no, I'm not good with the computers, or whatever they say. Not that I haven't heard that. Of course, I've heard it from other folks. And still what they do is they say, okay, I'm going to fight an uphill battle. I'm going to still go to college or, stick out that career, in McDonald's or Walmart, right, for 10, 15 years, I know I have relatives, right, by the way, that work at Walmart. that used to be in the IT field. One in particular had his CCNA. So he took his CCNA, and then he still works at Walmart to this day. And that was like, maybe 10 plus years ago. Why is that? I don't know, right? Some people that's just how it is, right? Which is fine, no big deal. But let's play that scenario out, right? What if my cousin, relative, if you will, would have said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and I get my CCNA entry level. I don't really know anything. I want to get a network job. Okay, start off making the low wages back in those days, right? Okay, I want to start off making, X amount of dollars. Okay, cool. Yeah, you're right. And then maybe a year's time, then he has more and more and more salary. Maybe he goes from, say, back in those days, I think it was like $20 an hour. So he probably could make, after a couple years, 1 year, 2 years, something like that, he probably can make like 40 grand a year, 45,000 a year, 50,000 a year. So now fast forward to 10 years, right? So what does that mean? So now, if he would have done that, he probably would have been a senior network engineer right now or something else in the IT field, making a lot of money working from home. Maybe his salary could have been at least $100K a year. But no, he's working in Walmart, right? Working at a particular section. He's one of these managers over a section, right? Basically. What does he do? Okay, hi, yes sir, no sir, hi ma'am, no ma'am, right? I don't knock Walmart, right? But if you have a skill set and, is he just wasting his time? Hey, that's his deal, right? It's far from me to judge anybody, right, by the way. But what about the people he could help? For instance, what about the individuals that he could move forward in life, basically, right? So, for instance, changing his family tree, if you will. You've heard some other podcast or some other radio people, right, say change your family tree, right? This is kind of what it's talking about, right? By the way, why not change your family tree? Why not get a skill set to change your family tree? Because I can guarantee you this much: 5 years from now, you're going to be 5 years older. 1,000% is going to happen, right? Nobody's yet invented a time machine to go back in time and change things. I don't think, anyway, by the way. And, those people out there who are telling you, oh, that IT person, they're snobby, they're stuck up. Yeah, some of them are, by the way. Some of them are really full of themselves, and they have a huge ego. I get it. 100%. That's true. 100%. But, okay. But they still are making more money than you, right? Yeah, they have a huge ego. Yeah, they're snobby, whatever, right? Whatever, fill in the blank, right? Yeah, it's not right because they make more money than us people who work in Walmart and McDonald's and their IT, and it's not fair. Yeah, I get all that, right? Sure. They're working less hours. They're working not as hard as you who work in McDonald's or Walmart. I get all that. Yeah, point well taken. But it's still the fact is they make more money, and you're still working at Walmart and you're still working at McDonald's, making excuses. I'm not being harsh on you, just reality, right? And because somebody told me, said, what if everybody stops working at Walmart, and everybody starts working at IT, they won't have any job. Come on. Not everybody's going to do that. Not going to happen. There's always going to be somebody who's going to say, I don't want to be IT. Maybe they've already done it, right? And they want to go back to an easier lifestyle. And I just say IT is where to go. The other thing I'll say about IT, so the skill sets transition, right? For instance, if you want to think about an IT person as like a detective, so those skill sets translate. That's transferable skills, right? So if you're that kind of mindset, IT is perfect for you. If you're a carpenter, if you're a mechanic, IT is perfect for you because you want to tinker and figure stuff out and solve a puzzle, right? Like, oh, okay, yeah, really nice, right? If you're a woman, out there and you want to get in IT, let me tell you right now, let me just give you some, knowledge, right? Basically, life knowledge, right? Essentially. Most of the women out there that I've met in IT, for instance, not all, ones I've met, most of the majority I've met, right? because there's so few, right? They think they need to be the boss. They think they need to prove something, right? Okay. So they don't like being wrong. They don't, it's disproportionately whatever it is, but they don't want to be wrong. So their tendency is to like, okay, either their management or they're like kind of, oh, well, what do you think? Or what about this? Or, they're not aggressive, right? Basically, right? Always second guessing themselves, right? Not all of them, not all, but the ones that I've worked with are like that. So why is that a problem, you may ask? For that matter, some guys are like that too, by the way. So why is that a problem? Here's why it's a problem. The person is shy, the person is timid at work. They're kind of like, okay, I don't want to, get blamed for this, right? Well, those translate into when it's Friday and there's something needs to be done and you need to rely on that person to do it. They're going to side on the side of caution, the side of risk adverse, even if it's something simple. So why is that a problem? I'll tell you why that's a problem. It's a problem because the risk adverse people, it's like, oh, I don't know. And they tell other people, or we'll do it another time. And it doesn't get done. Or they don't make a decision for that matter, right? Making a decision, either right or wrong. Okay, you have to make a decision, right? You have to go with what the knowledge you have at the time. Okay, so a couple of different things to do, as I see, is just to call the vendor. There's always a vendor. If you can call them up. And to let your leadership know ahead of time, hey, this is what I'm doing. Probably not going to, may or may not work, but I'm going to figure it out. And then let them kind of say, okay, yes or no. Or maybe give them the heads up. But if you're a timid person, you're a shy person, that's not going to happen, because most likely leadership won't buy into what you're selling, because you don't have the credibility, because you haven't stepped up in the past. Maybe you haven't talked in the meeting. Maybe you've just been really quiet in the back. And this is both women and men, by the way. Maybe you're quiet in the back corner of the, in the meeting room, or you don't speak up or whatever. And you're, okay, I don't know. And maybe you tell your coworkers, well, how do you do this? This is good. You should do that. But after a while, that we have tools called like, you can, capture the screen basically, right? That you can record how to do things, simple little things. What I'm basically saying is, don't let it be a crutch for you. Go home at the end of so go home and figure out what you don't know. Because most likely it's a dog-eat-dog world where you work at. And if you're kind of shy and timid, that's, unfortunately that shows a little bit of weakness in other people, especially if you have an alpha person, alpha female, alpha male in the team. They know, they can understand that, right? And so, but if you go home and you work on your craft, constantly work on your craft, then you're going to be, a lot better at your job. And now you're not stuck at that job. Because what if the alpha person says, oh, well, I'm going to just get rid of this person, or whatever excuse or some reason, who knows, right? Well, who are they going to cut? Oh, this shy person who doesn't really contribute? No. Who doesn't really know a lot? Wow, you're setting yourself up then. But if you on the side, you learn something more about your craft, now you're an asset. Of course, yeah, there is this theory of, oh, why should I work harder at my job? They're not paying me, right? Well, work for yourself. Do it for yourself so that you can get out of that job into a better job and make 100,000 or plus more a year. Going home and, oh, I had a hard day's work at job or whatever, or somebody yell at you with a phone because you're help desk, and then you shut down from life or whatever, and then don't do anything about it. Yeah, right. Everybody's been there. Believe me, everybody's been there, by the way. Everybody has been there in that situation where somebody's yelled at them, right? Oh, okay, yeah. But look forward past that and say, I don't want to be help desk for 10 plus years. Enough. No more of that. No more of that. I want to be better. I want to make $100,000 a year. Enough of this. I'm tired of being just not having a lot of money. I'm tired of just working here, right? Basically, right? So that's kind of mindset to have, really, when you're working in IT. It's, the what you can do, the greatest thing you can do, right, is the alpha person, or maybe the snotty person, or the ego person, real big, giant ego. Not just everybody has ego, by the way. Everybody has an ego. But the person who has like this huge, huge ego, right? Whatever, and they're in IT, blah, blah, blah. Well, think of it this way. Think of it like this. Use it as an advantage to you and say, wow, imagine they had to go and do 5 years of whatever training, right, to get to that level. And here you are coming in, and within, maybe they went to college or whatever, maybe they did 5 years of, OJT, and you got that skill set. Well, imagine you walking in the door, right? And imagine yourself 6 months later saying, bam, I know more than you. I'm better than you. What now? And because you're a nice person, right? Because you're a nice person, people are going to follow you. They're going to follow you. And you're going to change the whole dynamic of that office, by the way. And then you're going to be such a valuable person to the job that you can easily write your own ticket anywhere else because you work well with others. This person in there who is kind of like whatever, they're not guy or girl, right? They're not going to, that's it, right, for them. That's the highest they're going to get, by the way. That guy or gal who works in IT, who is kind of like, this huge ego, and, they're, the people, right? They're the people that, like, when you email them or when you chat with them, these are the people who email your leadership what you said in the chat. These are the people that play gotcha, right? There's, oh, yeah, you said this, right, on some email or whatever, like, okay, so what? These are the people who have all those credentials in their email, like a list of whatever credentials, right? Who are like, oh, I'm there, I'm Dr. such and such, or I'm, MBA, or they're CCNA, or whatever they have, their credentials, right? They want to really always announce it. Hey, it's good and everything. Good power for them. Good, right? Good for them, right? But most people in IT, look, they want to do the job. They'll go home, earn some money, and do it again. And they want to learn something as well. That's most people in IT, by the way. But when you become better at your job, so when you become in 6 months what it took that person 5 years to do, wow, look at that. You're a threat now, by the way. You're a huge threat to them. So now you can take that knowledge you have and then go somewhere else. Go to some other job, or maybe stay there if you like it. I'm so excited, right, by these things, because I've seen it how many times, or somebody comes in, and you probably know these people, right? You go to McDonald's, you go to Walmart, right? You talk to people, and they have the personality, they have the it, right? They have that it factor, but they just don't have the skill set for IT, right? And you say to yourself, if I could just show this person how to become IT, wow, we would have a bigger environment with more people that are IT that are awesome, basically, right? So it's almost like, I guess, Jedi. What would you call it? Like not Star Wars, but almost like the Force, right? Be one with the Force. So what you are is you're a Jedi master, and training another Jedi to come about and to come into the Force, right? So it's a new Jedi, and he or she has the right skill set, and you're just there trying to mold them into come into IT, and be one with the Force or whatever, right? So, yeah, awesome. So thanks everybody for listening to this podcast, and have a great day.